See. Hey everyone, my name is Austin Schur with We Write About Music, and today I'm here with Jason Schaller of Van Gogh. Fresh off the release of their newest single, Big Mistake, we're absolutely thrilled to have him on today. Jason, how are you doing? What's going on?
Hey man, I'm doing great, Austin. Thank you so much, man. This is awesome. Thanks for
Of
having
course,
me.
of course. Well, we're loving the single. Been listening to it nonstop all day. But
Oh,
before we get into it, I was told that you guys have been playing together for a while, but that life situations kind of brought you back together this year. What's going on?
yeah, man. So, it's very interesting. A lot of the bad things that happen with everybody during this whole COVID madness that's affected our world. For us, when you're stuck at home and you're stuck doing other things, we had not played together, quite honestly, since 2008. We formed a band out of Detroit at that point. uh, it was short lived. We all came from previous bands. We were kind of like a super group that came out of this like Detroit, music scene, or Michigan music scene, I should say. I,
Okay.
I guess I'm I guess I'm being a little pretentious. I don't know by calling it a super group, but anyway, it was like I feel that way because all the guys I'm playing with are like extraordinary musicians, and they just are the best of the
We'll
best, right?
count it. Definitely a super group then.
So anyway, we got together in 2008. We'd been slugging it out in our own bands for about 15 years. We stuck together. We were together for about 6 months. We wrote some incredible music. We were tight as hell. We sounded great. But life had kind of gone in different directions for all of us.
Mhm.
Some of us were a little burned out at the time, trying to figure things out. We were like, at a time in our life where, we'd just been going really hard for a long time. So we called it quits. The singer, Nate, moved to Fort Lauderdale. A couple years later, I followed and came down to Florida as well, unrelated. We kept in touch, but like lightly kept in touch with each other as a band. And then with this, just one day, I decided to pull some of these old tracks. We had gone into the studio. We recorded 4 songs. They were great tunes, but we never finished them, not at all. So I took what we was the most polished finished track and put it out on the streaming services. And it's not the version of Big Mistake that you're hearing today, but like a rougher like version of that. And it did really well. So I got a hold of the guys. We all got excited, and it was like, man, like our blood just started pumping with the old vibe of what we were
Yeah.
doing. And next thing you know, I'm on a plane heading to Detroit. Chuck Alkazian at Pearl Sound, which is an amazing studio, located all the old files and everything we had done with the recording. And we went in the studio and spent like 3 14-hour days just going through everything, mixing it, you know, doing just putting it all together. It was all there. And what we got out of it was absolutely amazing. It inspired us to do more stuff. So, I mean, long-winded answer to what's going on with all this
No,
stuff,
no,
but
no, no,
but
no. I mean, it kind of wraps everything together. That's really cool, though. It's crazy that so much downtime can bring close friends back together, and I totally get it. You know what? You're bored. You're trying to figure out something to do, and what excites you? Music.
you got it, man. You got it.
So are there plans to record more, or is this going to be a one-off type track?
No, you know what, man? We are full in, like we're full on getting ready to rock and roll now. That's it. I'll
Awesome.
say that. We got so inspired and had so much fun with this. We re-released the single, which is what's out on
Mhm.
all the major streaming services now. What you've been listening to, um, and we've got 3 more tracks ready to go. So we're going to release another one probably first or second week of December, and then we've been virtually writing. Nathan Paxton and Jonah, who are the other members of the band, are up in Michigan. Jonah has his own little home studio, so they've been just basically demoing out some stuff. And we've got 2 going on 3 going on 4 songs right now that we've been working on virtually, and we're ready to go back into the studio and cut them. And I mean, I think they're going to be better than ever. We were surprising ourselves because we thought, like, man, we haven't done this together in so long. Can we still make it happen?
Right.
And what we've done, I think the music we're writing today is better than anything else that we've ever written,
That's amazing. Well,
honestly.
hey, you got 10 plus years of experience under your belt since then. So it's all kind of pent up and ready to release to the world.
Yeah, amen, man. It's all about life experiences.
Oh,
and you got to
absolutely.
you tell stories with the music, and we got a lot more stories to tell now, so it's a lot more fun for all of us to get together and tell those stories through our music.
Right. That's awesome. Are these upcoming singles going to be more in the same vein? Are you going to be focusing on similar styles or kind of exploring a new sound?
You know, that's a great question. It really sounds like the band, you know? It
Right.
sounds like all of us playing. It's very much like Big Mistake, and it's very much that power pop driven, hook driven
Hmm.
songs that are, you know, at max 4 minutes long, but basically in that 3 minute to 3.5 minute range. Come on out, tell a story, get a good hook, get everybody singing along. We want anybody that listens to these songs to like not be able to get it out of their head for like not just a day, for like a year.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, of course. You want lifelong fans and lifelong classics.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it, yeah, and we're not writing it for that necessarily. I'm being funny. We're really truly we're in a different place now. We
Hmm.
used to do this music because we genuinely wanted to be rock stars on stage, and so everything we
Yeah,
were doing was aimed at doing that. Right? Who doesn't want to live
of
that life?
course.
But now you know, getting a little bit older, getting a few more battle scars out there in in
Hmm.
the war of life, you know. um we're really doing it just for the music. I mean, it's just fun. It's fun to tell the stories. It's fun to come up with something cool, and we have zero expectations for where it leads us. We just want people to
Right.
enjoy it, and we want people to hear it. That's it.
Right. And I
That's
think
really it.
honestly, at the base, it has to make you guys happy because you're not making music for other people. If it's not exciting you and if it's not, kind of lighting that fire within yourself, then what's the point? You can't be making music for other people.
You nailed it, man. You totally nailed it. Absolutely.
So, who are kind of your influences? Who are your inspirations from in the music that you make?
You know, for me personally, I sat on Ted Nugent's lap at 9 years old backstage at Cobo Hall in Detroit,
Awesome.
right? And he tapped his knee and he asked me if I was ready to rock and roll. I sat on the side of the stage with my fingers in my ears for the next 2.5 hours and just said, "Holy cow, like I want to do this." Really, it left an impression on me. And regardless of how you feel about Ted Nugent and his politics and everything else, he's an amazing guitar player. I'll say
Oh, that's
that. But
undeniable. Undeniable.
yeah, but that really lit a fire in me, and then I grew up, you know, listening to, you know, 90s music was a big influence. So even some of the, we'll call it hair bands and stuff, but I mean, if you really think back to like some of the classic hair bands, even like Poison and Warrant and
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses and all this stuff, I mean, they're still writing good hooks. It sounds like, to me, it sounds like today's modern country, honestly.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, like telling stories and just kind of fun party music and stuff. But anyway, you know, those were a lot of my influences that come through the guitar. Nate, lead singer, you know, he's really big into Paul Westerberg and the Replacements.
Okay.
You know, we all have major Beatles influences when it comes to writing songs and song structures and just kind of how that all comes together. Paxton, the bass player, he is, I mean, through and through, full out rock and roll guy, and actually, like, you know, moonlights right now playing in a band called Hairmania, which is like, you know, they put wigs on and tights and everything else, and they go
Oh,
out and they play like
nice.
Def Leppard songs and everything else, and just have a blast and get
Sounds
to, you know,
fun.
kind of forget. Yeah, yeah. And then Jonah the drummer, I mean, he's got a lot of the same influences we do, but he's a very versatile, just great musician. He's not just a drummer. He I mean, he plays every instrument, and you know, sometimes you need that. Like the best bands, I think, have a drummer that isn't just a drummer, right? Like if you go
Right.
back in history and you look at a lot of these bands that have been phenomenal and bands that we know and are friends with, you know, a lot of the lead singers that write a lot of good tunes are drummers as well.
A
You know,
hundred
they've
percent.
sat
Even in
behind the kit or
today's
something.
music, that kind of seems to be the trend is the drummer is the leader because it's, I mean, if they're not keeping time, then, and especially in the creativity side of things. So how does the recording process work with you guys? Does it start with a riff? Does it start with a bass line or a lyric? How do you guys kind of stem a song?
Great question. You know, a bunch of different ways. Nate and I spent time in a band together for about 15 years called South Normal. You know, Nate, so there was a lot of, we used to call it kitchen songwriting and something like that, right? We'd sit with an
Sure.
acoustic guitar and just kind of bang things out. And it really all started with a song, you know, so simple chord structure, some lyrics, and a melody. Melody first, lyrics came after that. And then, you know, you start to build in a sound around that, which is what we did with the band. And
Mhm.
the way we used to do it pre-COVID, back when we started the band, was in the basement. We
Right.
were we would we'd play until our ears would bleed, and we would literally just bang it out like anybody else would. But we were more mature, and meaning that we'd played in several other bands. We knew what it took to write songs with other guys, and we just brought our own sound to it, and it clicks. So our songwriting process today, which is very interesting, we're all kind of contributing in our own way. It's not just one guy bringing a riff and a melody and some lyrics to the band. Although Nate is an amazing songwriter and he's done that with a couple of the songs. We're all it's a team effort, and everybody checks their ego at the door, and we say, what can we do to write the best song possible, and what can we do so we all feel great playing it together. That's really it.
That's great though, because yeah, if there's a leader and that person is being bossy, then it kind of seems to take the fun out of things. Like I said before, if you're not making yourselves happy and you're trying not to take yourself too seriously, then it becomes a job more than actually having fun.
Everybody wants to quit their job, right? So
Right.
if
Who
you don't
wouldn't
feel
want to travel the world and rock people's faces off all day? Sounds amazing.
let's go, totally.
Seriously. Are there any like modern day rock influences, like up and coming bands that you guys have been checking out, or does a lot of your sound still kind of stem from the past?
No, that's interesting. We've talked a lot about it, and there are some modern day influences.
Hmm.
I mean, eh, I could name tons of them, but like even like Kings of Leon and like
Oh yeah.
that they're great at what they do. I mean, being Detroit guys,
Right.
Jack White and the
Oh yeah.
Rockin' Tours and that kind of stuff. I mean, still, interesting, good in your face rock and roll, but it's got some grit and attitude, and it's telling a story,
Right.
and we follow that. And there's some really great other bands that have come out, and I mean, I'm just impressed. I turn on the radio, and now with the internet and with Spotify and with streaming services and stuff, I mean, the amount of music you can find and the amount of stuff that's out there that's just unbelievable, that
Yep.
you don't even know exists, is like staggering to really contemplate. So
Yeah, and
I don't know.
90% of it you'll never even find because who has the time to listen to it all? It would just be impossible.
Be impossible. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I just got a couple more for you. But what message would you like to pass off to the listeners? I know that there's a lot to look forward here, so what would you like to tell them?
Well, I'd like to, you know, how do I put this? We're gonna have some really good music coming out. We're
Mhm.
gonna have a lot of new tracks that we're gonna release. I think Big Mistake is a really good song. I think it's something that makes everybody want to tap their toe and dance when they hear it. And I think many people can relate to it when they listen to
Mhm.
it. And the lyrics are genuine. And I think that's what you can expect from any of the other releases that we're about to put out. They're all going to be catchy. They're all going to have some cool stuff. We're going to be really guitar driven, big drums, great thundering vocals with Nate, but they're going to all tell a story, and
Right.
they're real stories. So um yeah, I don't know, man. I would say what to expect is like, we have zero expectations. We're just having a blast. We're just having a
Good.
lot of fun, and we're all like, we all have things going on in our life, but each day we wake up and we're like, all right, who else is listening to us? Who sent us a message? Who
Mhm.
did this? Who did that? It's energizing. So we hope that I would say everybody that hears this is as energized as we are to put it together. So.
Amazing. And again, you got to have fun with it. So, so lastly, you mentioned that there's new stuff on the way. Can you give out any dates, or should we just kind of keep posted for the time being?
No, I would say we had a call last night just so we all got on the same page. We Zoom now like once a week and just touch base and do what we're doing right here. And we said, when we started this, we're eager. We want to release everything at once, but we also know that like in this world we live in, I think building a little
Mhm.
anticipation and letting the one song have its life to live and see how people respond to it. There's some value in that. So
You
we
have
talked
to.
last night. Yeah, man. We talked about a post Thanksgiving release of the next song. And the next song we're all on board with releasing is called Imaginary Friend. And we're shooting for that first week of December. We'll probably release it on that Friday after that, after Thanksgiving. So not the Friday after Thanksgiving, but the following week, that Friday. So a week after Thanksgiving. And it's a great song. And it tells a cool story, and it makes you wonder about things, and it also makes you laugh, and it makes you also like question things. I don't know. It's got a lot of cool content, and it's just a cool jam, and it'll get you like screaming basically. So it's a lot
Awesome.
of fun to listen.
Well, personally, I'm pumped for it. So thanks for the news. But yeah, Jason, I'm gonna let you get back to it, and I just wanted to say thank you so much again for taking the time out of your day to speak with us. Really looking forward to everything you guys are going to put out in the near future, and we'll be keeping a close eye for sure.
Man, I can't wait. I hope we have more of these discussions, and I can't wait for you to meet the rest of the guys in the band.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk soon.
We're coming to LA, dude. All right.
Oh yeah, well I'll be front row. Don't worry about it. For sure.
All right. Let's go. Fist pumping. All right.
Boom. All right. Nice to meet you, man. Have a good rest of your
Nice to
day.
meet you. You
Bye
too. Thanks,
bye.
brother. See you,
Yeah,
man.
man. See
Bye.
ya.